Hello everybody. So I will be doing chapter 10, which is files and exceptions, with my peer Yasmin. I'm going to continue where Yasmin left off. Yasmin, can you hear me?
Yes, Martha, I can hear you perfectly. Thank you.
No problem. So we have files and exceptions. So files in Python let us store and access data permanently, so we can open, read, write, and close files using functions like open, read, write, and close. And then they're used to save information like text or data outside our program. And then exceptions are errors that occur while the program runs, such as dividing by zero, trying to open a missing file. So Python lets us handle these errors using try, except, and finally blocks, so that our program doesn't crash. So we have writing multiple lines. The write text method does a few things behind the scenes. So if the file that path points to doesn't exist, it creates that file. Also, after writing the string to the file, it makes sure the file is closed properly. So we have several lines in our programming.txt file. We have contents I like programming, contents plus is equals I love creating new games, contents plus I also love working with data. So um, these are three strings um, that we have in our txt file, and then path write txt, which is the content. So we define a variable called contents that will hold the entire content of the file. So if we run this, it's going to show us I love programming, I love creating new games, I also love working with data. And then we have exceptions. So Python uses special objects called exceptions to manage errors that arise during a program's execution. Whenever an error occurs that makes Python unsure of what to do next, it creates an exception object. So if you write a code that handles the exception, the program will continue running. And then if we don't handle the exception, the program will halt and show a traceback, which includes a report of the exception that was raised. So handling the zero division error. So we have division calculator.py, print 5 divided by 0. Python can't do this, so we will get a traceback which says that file division calculator will be y in line 1 in module. Zero division error, division by 0. This is the error that we will get. So we're using try except blocks. When we think an error may occur, we write a try except block to handle the exception that might be raised. We tell Python to try running some code. You tell it what to do if the code results in a particular kind of exception. So except zero division error, print you can't divide by 0. And this example, the code in the try block produces a zero division error. So Python looks for an except block telling it how to respond. And then this is what we're going to get if we try to divide 5 by 0. We have using exceptions to prevent crashes. So handling errors correctly is especially important when the program has more work to do after the error occurs. So this happens often in programs that prompt users for input. If the program responds to invalid input appropriately, it can prompt for more valid input instead of crashing. So we have our simple calculator that does only division. So this division calculator runs in the loop until the user decides to quit. So it will tell the user what it does and how to quit. So give me two numbers and I'll divide them. Print enter Q to quit. So it will start an infinite loop while true that keeps asking for numbers. And the user will enter the first number. If they type Q, the program stops. And then it asks for the second number. Again, typing Q will end the program. So the program converts both inputs to integers and divides the first by the second, and then prints the result. So it will repeatedly ask the user for two numbers, divides them, and shows the result, stopping only when the user types Q. Okay, and then we have the else block. So we can make this program more error resistant by wrapping the line that might produce errors on a try except block. The error occurs on the line that performs the division, so that's where we'll put the try except block. And this example also includes an else block. Any code that depends on the try block executing successfully goes in the else block. So except zero division error, print you can't divide by zero, else print the answer. So we print friendly messages telling the user how to avoid the kind of error. This program will continue to run and the user never sees a trace back. And then handling the file not found error exception. So we have atlas.py from pathlib import path atlas.txt contents path read text encoding UTF. Note that we're using array text in a slightly different way here than what we saw earlier. The encoding argument is needed when our system's default encoding doesn't match the encoding of the file that's been read. So Python can read from a missing file, so it will raise an exception. And that's what we're going to see. So to handle the error that's been raised, the try blocks will begin with the line that was identified as problematic in the traceback. So except file not found error, print sorry, the file to this path does not exist. So it will say sorry, the file alice.txt does not exist. And then analyzing text, we can analyze the text files containing entire books. Many classic works of literature are available as simple text files because they are in the public domain. So let's pull in the text of Alice in Wonderland and try to count the number of words in the text. So to do this, we'll use the string method split, which by default splits a string whenever it finds any white space. So else hashtag count the approximate number of words in the file. Words is equals to contents dot split number of words is equals to length of words. Print the file to this path has about this number of words. Okay, and then this is the output that we'll get. The file alice.txt has about 29,594 words. Hope everything was clear on your side, Yasmin, and that you understood what chapter 10 is all about.
Yes, Martha, all was clear. Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.